Hey guys, real good time here. Today I'm gonna do kind of a different video. It's gonna be I would go ahead and say maybe vlog. I don't really know the definition of vlogs, but I guess that's kind of what it's gonna be. What I'm gonna talk about is I had an experience with my first ever legitimate Chinese wedding. It started about 2 months ago. I worked for a training school on like the side. Like I had my main training school and then I took another part-time training school job on the side. And the boss at that school doesn't even really know me that well. And she doesn't speak good English. Like she cannot carry a conversation with me. But apparently word on the street was she was having a wedding and she wanted me to be one of the groomsmen in the wedding. Now, let me clarify. I do not know the guy that she's marrying. Never met him, don't know his name, don't know anything about the guy. I barely know her. Like, I've seen her, I've said hey, but that's about it. So I was like, good gosh, you want me to be in your wedding? Like, is that not weird? What are the other groomsmen gonna think about this? So I agreed to it because I was like, screw it. I'm gonna play the yes man role here and just kind of go with it, see what it's all about. I mean, I would like to, get some knowledge about Chinese weddings. So sure enough, I agreed to it. And then later on, about a month ago, she got one of her coworkers to ask me if I could not only be in the wedding, but if I could be the best man in the wedding. Yeah, that's right. The best man to a guy that I do not know. Now, it sounds crazy, and I was like, well, maybe this is something normal for Chinese people. I don't know. So I asked some of my coworkers at my job, and they told me that it was strange. They said they would never do that if they didn't know the person, and that it was a little bit unusual. So I was like, all right, I don't know. I'm going to go with it. This is kind of interesting. So finally, maybe 3 days ago, I think it was, the wedding took place. They told me to get to the wedding, get to the guy's house that was getting married. His name was DJ. I didn't know that until the day of the wedding. They told me to meet him there at like 8 a.m. The wedding wasn't until like 6 p.m. So I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do for that long. So I get to the guy's apartment. He has like his family in there, his parents, his son. He apparently had a son. And some of the other groomsmen were there. And we were just kind of getting ready, taking a few pictures together. Just like, I don't know, some bullcrap. It was a little uncomfortable for me because I didn't know anybody. And I was just kind of sitting there on my phone, not really doing much. So then they're like, all right, Pat, let's go. We're going to head out. So I was like, all right. So we drive over. I get in the car with him in like this nice, fancy, flowers all over it, Mercedes or something. And so I get in the car with him. We head on over to his wife's house. And when we get to his wife's house, all the bridesmaids are there. And I noticed there's one foreign bridesmaid that I think was in the same position as me. I think she just she worked at the training school, and they just wanted like a foreign face in the wedding, so they just got her in the wedding. So I was the only foreign male. She was the only foreign female. So we get to the house, everybody's there. This is where cause I heard about this before the wedding started. They warned me. They said there's gonna be a lot of pranks and funny stuff that they'll do before the wedding. So I was like, all right, I don't know what to expect from that. So I get there and I'll show you guys videos of the stuff that I saw as I'm going, don't worry. So I get there and I see like everybody's having a real good time. I was like, all right, I don't know. I was still a little out of place, didn't really know anybody. So they start the groomsmen start playing like games and stuff. Like I saw them like popping, they would put a balloon in between two groomsmen A's and they would like pop the balloon with their A's. I did not take part in that, but I did see that happening. And then they brought out like this little vest thing that was like, what would be like a man's six-pack with like pectoral muscles and stuff. Don't really know what that was about, didn't really understand it. They got me to put on like this weird little Chinese almost like, I don't even know what it was, like traditional Chinese hat thing. And they're like, all right, Pat, wear this. And then we had to like, before I knew it, the groomsmen, they had a tradition apparently, where the groomsmen had to do sexy dances on the guy that was getting married, like the groom. So they're like, all right, Pat, you're up. And I had to like pretty much grind on this guy, do sexy dances on him. And it was just like, it was unbelievable, dude. I'd never met the guy before. Just found out the guy's name. And here I am doing a sexy dance on the guy. Didn't really understand it. But I was going with it. I didn't give a dang. I was like, F it. It's a once in a lifetime thing. I'm never going to see these people again. Whatever. I don't care. Then he puts his wife's picture on the floor. Apparently this was Chinese tradition. I don't know. And he starts doing push-ups, and every time he would go down to the picture, he would kiss the picture and then go back up, go down, kiss the picture, and just kept doing that. I was like, what is going on here? And like people were hardcore rooting him on, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. So then after that, apparently the bride was in a separate room, like her bedroom. I didn't know it. But they started like beating on the door, and she's like, no, like she was speaking some Chinese. I didn't really understand it. But she was like pretty much refusing to open the door. And the guys were like pounding to get in there, like desperate to get in there. So then finally they pulled out some red packets, which if you don't know what red packets are, it's like a very popular gift here in China. All it is like a red envelope with like traditional Chinese markings on it and characters. And you just put like 100 kwai, 200 kwai, 300 kwai in there. And then you would just give it as a gift to somebody. They're very popular on like Chinese New Year, weddings, birthdays, stuff like that. But they slip a red packet under the door, I guess to like entice her and be like, hey baby, you want this money? If you get this money, you have to open the door. But she still refused, right? So eventually, after like minutes of beating on the door and trying to give red packets to her, she finally opens the door. And all the groomsmen, including myself, I don't know why I was so desperate to get in there, but we were trying to get in there. So they open the door, we get in there. She's dressed in some intense, traditional Chinese outfit. I don't know what it's called, but good gosh, it was intense. She looked like some Chinese queen or something. So we go in there, and then this is when like some more weird stuff happens. Apparently, she didn't have shoes on. So it was a groomsman job to find her shoes. It was like special slippers that she had to wear. So we were looking all over the room, in all of her drawers. I was feeling uncomfortable because I was like, any minute, I know I'm going to open a drawer and it's going to have like thongs and stuff in there. I'm going to be like, good gosh, this is so uncomfortable. So I didn't really know where to look. I didn't want to look in all the drawers because I knew I would come across something controversial, embarrassing. So I just kind of kept it low key. But eventually we found the slippers. And once we found the slippers, they put them on, and then they did some weird thing, and you'll see the video. They did some weird thing where the bride would put lipstick on the groom. Don't really know what it's about. I guess it's traditional. Put the lipstick on the groom, and then the groom had to like kiss the wife, but she was refusing the kiss, right? Like she was like backing away, and the groomsman was like, come on, please. Pretty much what they do on your wedding day, and I kid you not, man. They make the groom a total B, man. They make him the bride's B. He begs for her. He pleads for her. He wants her so bad, but she will not let him get her. It's that's the vibes that I got from it. Like the woman is dominant on this wedding day. And the guy's just a total B that just does whatever she wants. So eventually he kisses her, and then she pulls some piece of paper out, not really sure what it was. And he has to kiss that, and again, she was refusing. She was like pulling away from him. And then once he got his little lipstick mark on there, I guess like the deal was done or whatever. So then after that, we head out, and we go, the next destination, I believe, the groom's parents' house. And we just kind of like, you know, get our last little things ready to head on to the location of the wedding. So then once we get there, we, you know, get our crap, get out, go to the wedding. We go to the wedding, and this place, it was in a very fancy hotel, and the wedding took place in like a very fancy ballroom area or whatever. So we go there, and I was like, all right, you know, I think things are going to start getting pretty normal now. No, I was wrong. Things get a little bit weird. So So what happens is, apparently, at the doorway, the bride and the groom will stand there where the guests come in. And when the guests come in, the groomsmen and the bridesmaids are there as well. And we just have to stand there almost as like greeters at a door. And we probably stood there, I'm not joking, probably an hour solid of just standing there greeting the people coming in. You can take pictures with the bride, pictures with the groom, whatever you want to do. But almost every guest, and this was mind-blowing, almost every guest gave a red packet to the bride and groom. And there were so many effing red packets, man. Like literally the groom had his own personal girl who he would hand the red packets to when he got one. She had a stash in her purse. She must have had 200 red packets. And I talked to my girlfriend about how much money the people are typically putting in those red packets. She said on average somewhere around between 500 and 1,000 kwai, which is like between 75 and 150 US dollars. So multiply that by 200, that is a substantial amount of money that those people just got on their wedding day. I mean, a substantial amount of money. So, anyway, back to the story. The wedding finally starts to kick off.
Something that happened in the beginning of the wedding was a kid fashion show. I want to say this is traditional in Chinese weddings, but pretty much what it was a legitimate looking fashion show. And it just had like kids who were friends of the family or whatever. And they just put on like a little maybe 2 to 3 minute fashion show before the wedding started. And it was intense.
And they start everything. Oh, the wedding rehearsal was literally, I would say 5 minutes. They told us almost nothing. I didn't know what the F I was doing when I went up on the stage. I was like, all I knew is the girl that I was walking down. I didn't know anything else other than that. I didn't know where to stand, how to stand, what to do. So everything was just like a surprise. Also, this is something that was ridiculous because they tried to bring me, I think one of the main reasons they brought me in the wedding was to kind of make them look legit, like, oh, look, we have a foreigner in our wedding. Look how legitimate we are. We're cultured. We have connections, like that type of crap. So I think that's the only reason I was in the wedding. Well, anyway, of course, they give me the suit or whatever, but they did not have shoes for me. I think they expected me to bring shoes, but I wore Nike running shoes. And and if you saw their wedding, it was a very elaborate wedding. Super fancy, super nice. So they were like, oh, no problem, we'll get some shoes for you. What size shoe do you wear? And apparently in China, my foot is too big for the shoes here. Like they don't even make shoes in my size here. They're only a US size 12, but they do not make shoes that big in China. And if they do, they're extremely rare. So they could not find shoes for me for the life of themselves. They were searching hard, they couldn't find them. So it turns out I had to wear Nike running shoes on the wedding stage. Classic moment, because they tried to have me up there to look legit, and of course I ruined it by wearing the Nike running shoes. So anyway, the wedding starts. I'm kind of just standing out there on the stage. I was like, all right, don't really know where this is going. The groom starts to like turn my way and like gives me a hug. I was like, all right, don't know what this is about. So he hugs all the groomsmen, and then apparently that was like our sign to get the heck off the stage. Didn't know that. So we get off the stage, and then, they finished the wedding or whatever. We have a nice fancy meal. The wedding coordinator, this was a little interesting. He had this little thing after the wedding where he had like stuffed animals, and he was throwing the stuffed animals to the crowd. And the crowd was just going ballistic, man. They were going freaking ham for these stuffed animals. Again, must be Chinese tradition, didn't really understand it. But, turned out I ended up finding like a good drinking table of like a bunch of young Chinese guys that were going wild. They were going super hard, and they wanted me at their table. So I went over there, had a lot to drink with those guys. Hard liquor, wine, beers, whatever. They had it, unlimited supplies. And it ended, I just got out of there. The guy, the best man, right before I left, came up to me, not the best man, the groom came up to me and straight up said I was his best friend. He was like, dude, you are my best friend. He's like, thank you so much for being here, man. You are my best friend. I was like, all right, we just met today. I don't really know how to react to this. But yeah, that was pretty much all of it. There's a few other minor little things that may have happened. I can't really remember right now. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. Super long. The whole process was probably 14 hours, maybe more, maybe 15 hours. But if you ever get a chance to be in a Chinese wedding, I recommend it just one time. I probably wouldn't go to multiples because they're too long. But if you ever have a chance, I recommend it. They're super interesting. You're going to see a lot of interesting crap. And it's nothing like the West. It's all about show. Everything is about show. The cars they drive, they rent super nice cars so they can drive them around the city in a big line, showing off their cars, showing off everything. They got fireworks. They got it all, man. And, another funny thing that happened. One more thing before I leave. They would shoot a crap ton of fireworks, like outside of their apartment. Tons of fireworks, dude. And the fireworks will blow up, leave crap everywhere, and they just drive off like it never happened. It's like, all right, who's gonna clean this crap up, man? There's so much crap. Literally firework bull crap as far as you can see. And it's just like, all right, I guess we're just gonna leave this here. But that's, again, Chinese people don't really give a dang if they litter. But yeah, the street cleaner, I saw her sitting there and she was just watching us with a big smile on her face. She did not give a freak that she was having to clean that crap up. But yeah, that's it. Hope you liked it. Hope it was informative. That's my experience at a Chinese wedding. I think this wedding that I was in, the people were very wealthy, from what I understand. So the wedding that I experienced is probably much more elaborate than a normal Chinese wedding. But it went hard. They had it all. It was intense.